So I'm trying to look for ideas, topics that haven't been washed out, like difference between theistic and atheistic, Satanists, what Satanists really believe, Anton LaVey, Church of Satan. All these things are great and fine to talk about, but they've been talked about to the end of time, including by me. So I'm gonna start try to talk about some things that just that aren't really discussed and open anyway. Certain things are even considered taboo, which is ironic that Satanists have taboo topics as well. One of those that you don't see very often is talking about race, and especially further that, talking about eugenics, about culling. You hear a lot about Anton LaVey. He talks about, like being the elite, even the alien elite, which is kind of goes into possible theories of like ancient astronauts type thing. When he meant alien elite, did he mean alienated from society, or did he mean possibly something more? Now I sound like the guy from the History Channel. It's aliens, but it was. No, it's not, but it was. No, but seriously, that's another interesting topic. Is the that possibility that LaVey meant that possibly more, that we are somehow superhuman, above human, and not just Nietzsche's Übermensch, but maybe absolutely on a genetic level of some sort. Now that's all speculative, of course, but it still leads for an interesting conversation that you don't really see all the time. So if anybody wants to possibly do a radio show or a blog show or whatever and talk about that, that'd be interesting. I can go on for a long time about that. Um, when it comes to eugenics and stuff, you don't hear about people actually wanting to put that into motion, or people, especially like say the Church of Satan, are a little standoffish when it comes to that. Some talk about it metaphorically, like the strong shall inherit the earth, right? Or the weak shall suffer or perish or whatever, right? Well, is that metaphoric or is it not? I seem to believe that, just like within any organization, the Church of Satan probably has an inner core that's beliefs and attitudes aren't necessarily what is reflected on the outside to the public. I don't believe that everybody within the Church of Satan is, well, like what you see. I do believe that there is groups of pockets of individuals that are a little bit more hardline, a little bit more elitist, a little less humanitarian, a little less concerned about public appearance and image, like your Boyd Rice, or your Nicholas Schreck. Both of them had overt kind of, fascist or Naziist kind of aesthetics. I'm not calling either one of them fascists or Nazis. I mean, I don't think either one of them were. In fact, what is a Nazi? An extinct political group that died off in the 50s and 40s. So yeah, nobody's a Nazi, but you know what I'm saying. They had a very militant aesthetic to them, very very cool, very sinister. And I do believe that they both talked about a culling, a cleansing of the earth of the weak, in a real matter of fact way, like a genocide sort of way. Some people I've heard talk about it in the sense of like a disease, like a natural phenomena like that, or even a man-made phenomena. Um, that's another topic I like to discuss. I mean, there's pros and cons. I mean, there's different sides of the fence, different arguments that need to be taken into consideration. I mean, who's to define who's weak? Who's to define who should stay and who should go? Are we to play God? I'm going to hold back my opinions for now, but it's something that's worth thinking of. Should we get rid of, say, half the world's population so that the other half can live more productive and meaningful, and live a happier existence? I believe so. I believe that if we got rid of half the population in this world, one way or the other, be it disease, whatever it is, that the other half would be grateful. I mean, but that's a big call. I mean, who's to decide who stays and who goes? I mean, Nazis tried. Um, well, I did that. That was really exaggeration. Use the Nazis tried. They're the closest thing to any sort of militant extermination, even though it was highly exaggerated, that we've seen in our lifetime, or in the last century anyway. But what about if it was on a mass scale? We're talking billions, right? I mean, I think I made a video before. If I could push the button and annihilate 50% of this world randomly, that is, even randomly. Of course, selectively, I'd be much happier with it. But even if it was just a random 50% of the population got taken out, if I could press a button, I would, even at the expense that it could be me. I could be one of those 50%. Or, most certainly it's going to be people, some people are going to go, people I care about, people, my family, my friends, my loved ones. I'd still do it, not sure if I'd live with myself afterwards, but I would do it because I am actually a humanitarian. I would take out half the world in order for the other half to live better lives, even if that was myself. But that's just me. So it's kind of a cool topic to talk about. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that's fair? Do you think that we should, if we have a chance, excuse me, I'm thirsty. That's my gallon of soda. Lasts me all day. My thermos. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Boyd and Shrek and them, that was an interesting school back then. Just another topic I want to talk about. Geez, I'm just all over the place today. Satanic Panic. I'm all for it coming back. Today people are just, today their impression of Satanism is a lot different than it was during the Satanic Panic in the late 80s, early 90s, which is, ironically, that's when I developed an interest in Satanism. It wasn't just music either. It was, music was a big part of it, but more so was a Satanic Panic. It was all over the media, and not this, activism, liberal shit that's all over the media now with, the current most popular organization. This was like talk shows and all kinds of shit. Not protesting football games and gay cupcakes and shit like that, but like fucking people out there like being accused of like ritual abuse and acid baths and breeders, and abductions. And I mean, we're talking like preschools with fucking ritual chambers, and we're talking some sinister, serious shit. People were fucking scared, and the hysteria just, the press and the media just built that hysteria to exponential, to huge levels where people were selling books. We created a whole new generation of TV evangelists, your Bob Larsons and shit, that just made millions and millions of people's fears of us spreading these lies and these deceits, which, the FBI later came and debunked and said, no, they did an investigation. Like, no, this is bullshit. This isn't real. There's no evidence to substantiate these claims. But what was cool, it turned a whole new generation on to Satanism. Like, I would have never, would I have been a Satanist? Of course, I was always a Satanist. I was born a Satanist. But I would have never identified myself as Satanism, was it not for the media like that. If it wasn't for the fact that turn on TV and Geraldo hears some fucking Satanist talking about, sacrificing animals and shit like that. It was just so far-fetched to me. I'm just like, what? People do that shit? The evil of it, the imagery of it. It's there for a purpose, and it attracted, a whole new group of Satanists. I being one of them. So yeah, music is a big thing, but the Satanic Panic, we should bring that back. Because right now, the public image, the current image of Satanism, is not something that I agree with. But then again, it probably never will be, and most people will probably say that. But I don't want people thinking that all Satanists are, really, like what the impression is now. So without going into any details and naming any names, it's just, I'd like to see Satanism a little bit more sinister. I think it's time to put the S back in Satanism, because it's been gone for quite some time. And I think it's good that people should fear us. I'm not out to dispel rumors anymore, dispel myths. If you want to believe that I sacrifice people and animals and, boil people's bones and acid baths in the middle of the desert to hide the bodies, sure, go for it. Maybe you'll leave me the fuck alone then, What I don't want you to do is think I'm going to put on a fucking cape and go, protest a fucking high school football game. That's what I'm not going to be doing. We'll let those guys do that. I want to see the S back in Satanism. So, how are we going to do that? We need another serial killer. We need another serial killer like Richard Ramirez. Okay, David Berkowitz. We need a serial killer who's going to do it in the name of Satan. That will bring back the Satanic Panic. But he needs to be good. He's going to need to be on an epic level of serial killer. Something like Red Dragon, or that movie, or what's that guy's name? Dexter. Something fucking badass like that, Richard Ramirez, although he was charismatic, and for a serial killer, he's a good-looking guy. was actually really a pussy, though. You know, he was caught running down the street. A mob was chasing him. He was begging for his life. So, you know, I want to see somebody sinister. We're gonna need like a super serial killer, like epic proportions. You know, maybe somebody who kills people with fucking Q-tips. I don't know. That'd be fucking awesome. But no, I mean, you know what I'm saying? The every generation it seems like there's a wave, a push of something. It's usually in music that I've noticed so far. You know, you had Marilyn Manson was the first one that I witnessed. First was Satanic Panic, and then shortly following that was Marilyn Manson, who probably came out of the Satanic Panic himself. You know, he's a little bit older than me by about 10 years or so, but still, he would have been at the right time to where he would have been perfecting and honing his art during that time, which probably molded him as an individual and his image as Marilyn Manson, for sure. Um, you know, so yeah. And then after Marilyn Manson, what was there? Well, then you hold your whole death metal phenomenon. You know, it started pretty much in the 90s, got bigger in the 2000s, and so I'm not really that much into death metal, so I'm not really one to list historical things really. But I know that there's a big group of people who went out and bought the Satanic Bible, who read and studied Satanism because of, you know, a death metal band that they liked. You know, for me, it wasn't death metal. For me, it was Satanic Panic, but, you know, it was also a metalhead too. For me, it was like Slayer. You know, wanted to know what all that satanic imagery was. There you go. There again, right out of Satanic Panic. A lot of these bands did. And it attracted a whole new generation of us. And granted, most of them, you know, the new fad came along and they followed that, but a few of us actually stuck around, studied it, you know, and saw it for what it is. And right now, currently, I see, of course, death metal, but I see bands like Ghost, you know, that I am a big fan of. Got to meet Ghost. Very cool. Very cool. I had a discussion with Papa Emeritus, Tobias Forge, about Satanism. It was actually really cool. I'll have to make a video about that one day. But yeah, that's the next thing. And a lot of people are getting turned on to Ghost, you know, and that's good. I mean, they don't not quite as, you know, have the influence quite as like Marilyn Manson did because, well, his music was kind of groundbreaking and his imagery was at the time, where Ghost is as well, but not quite to that degree. Either way, though, there's a lot of people who are learning about Satanism that would have never bothered or never even looked at it or even thought of it if it wasn't for Ghost and the music and the imagery. So, you know, hail to Ghost, and hopefully they spawn a whole new generation of Satanists. But yeah, Satanism's influence in music is known. It's marked. It's very obvious, and I'm gonna try to make a video just about that and see if we can unravel and educate some people as to the history of Satanists in music, which I've been able to trace back to the very first satanic band. I would say would be the Rolling Stones back in the 60s, right when the Church of Satan was formed. That, to my knowledge, is probably the first legitimate band that identified themselves as Satanists. But we'll get into that. That's what's coming up, and I'll try to be more specific next time. I was just kind of mainly decided to talk to myself and decided to push record to kind of leave a voice note type of thing. And I may post this, I may not. We'll see. Thanks for watching.